Piggybacking off of the last video where we actually found out that people preferred playing Brain Rot Simulator and Tun Shahar Simulator and Grow a Labubu over games that are more innovative and genuinely interesting that have been created on the Roblox platform. Let's actually talk about games people are actually looking forward to that are coming on the Roblox platform, and we're actually going to articulate why people are looking forward to some of these games that are upcoming rather than just listing games that are upcoming. And yes guys, guess what, most of the games on this list are anime related. Let's not forget this is an anime channel. So do me a huge favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's actually look at why people are looking forward to some of these games. Now the first game we're actually going to be talking about is Anime Rival. Now again, Anime Rivals is an anime game clearly, but this anime game works a little bit differently. This game is inspired by Clash Royale. Now Clash Royale is a, you can say, tower defense game where you actually get units of different mobs and use those units to attack the towers of the enemy that you are fighting against. You're essentially going to be using these units to siege your enemy. However, it is a twist. This time, instead of it just being units within a game, it's anime characters, anime inspired things, anime cards, etc. that you're going to be using in order to attack your opponent's base or siege your opponent. Now, most people are genuinely looking forward to this game just based off how interesting the concept is. Yes, you can argue that this game is essentially a one-to-one copy of Clash Royale, except instead of normal units that you use in Clash Royale, you're using anime characters. But that's what actually makes it interesting. Who doesn't want to see a Song Jin-woon unit attacking or sieging the enemy's base? And on top of that, the game is going to not only have PvE game modes in order to progress and unlock new units and cards and things of that nature, but there's also going to be PvP game modes that you can participate in as well. Mixing up different cards and units and decks is going to be genuinely interesting. A lot of people want to see how this is going to be pulled off, especially using the anime formula. A lot of people do want to collect anime characters that they are interested in. It is always nice to see an anime spin-off for something that's already pretty interesting. So for something as big and honestly as cool as Clash Royale is, seeing it changed and implemented into an anime formula is genuinely interesting. I do want to see if it's pulled off correctly as well. There's a Roblox developers do like to half-heart some stuff. If this is pulled off correctly, I don't see how this isn't interesting. This is genuinely something people can play not only for fun when they're bored, but against their friends or just for bragging rights climbing the rank. This is an interesting one. It's been in development for quite a while now, which is good and bad because, you know, how long does it really take to make a Clash Royale anime game? But at the same time, if the developers are taking their time because they truly want to get it right, there isn't a downside to that either. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. But Anime Rivals is genuinely an interesting game. Now the next game isn't anime related, RogueBlox. Now what RogueBlox, or what actually piques people's interest with Roblox, is actually how interesting the gameplay and the gameplay mechanics look. This game already looks like it has a good amount of progression already done for it. I mean, there's two trailers and one of them kind of show a desert-y area and has a good amount of bosses within the other trailer as well. You can literally see bosses, and the boss mechanics for each of the bosses actually look interesting. So just that alone, it looks like they've actually put time and effort into the game. On top of that, RogueBlox obviously has a cool mix of rogue lineage and maybe even deep woken elements, which is always interesting to look at too. On top of that as well, just looking at how the user interacts with the map from some of the gameplay snippets we have seen, or just from some of the trailers we have seen, you can see that the map is actually kind of interactive and that it reacts to when players are around and not around. I mean, a whole area coming out of the lava actually looks pretty cool. Now, me personally, I don't know too much about the game, but just through customization, the different weapons, even the combat, it all looks genuinely interesting. Obviously, combat is something that's always going to pique my interest in the game. And not only that, this game actually looks interesting. Like, there's diversity within the gameplay snippets that we have seen already. Now, I could be wrong and RogueBlox comes out and there's no content and it's actually just a bunch of nonsense, but that's a risk I'm willing to take, especially with how dry the Roblox platform is right now. I mean, I don't want to play Steal Boo Boo, so I'll definitely rather put my hopes in something like RogueBlox. However, this game is meant to come out summer 2025, and we're actually already closing off the first month of summer. There's 2 months left. We haven't really heard or seen anything too tough over the past couple of weeks, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. Next, we're actually talking about one of the more, or should I say one of the most interesting games being created right now on this platform, Pocket Anime. Now, it's easy to know why people are very much looking forward to Pocket Anime. What's there not to like? Pokemon mixed with anime. Now, Pokemon is already anime, but instead of just collecting creatures and battling with them, in this game you actually collect anime characters and you're battling with in the Pokemon format. Everything from the overworld to even when you're in the battle screen is Pokemon inspired, clearly, and you're using your favorite anime character, being able to catch shinies as well. Shiny Gojo, shiny Goku, things like that is genuinely interesting. Running into your favorite anime character and utilizing them, their skill set and their kit within a Pokemon formula. Being able to run into that shiny is genuinely, or collecting shinies in a game like this is genuinely going to be interesting. Not only that, you're going to actually get to use evolutions in the game. Like, that's super interesting. What would a unit like Naruto evolve into? Everyone's interested and curious to see things like this, and then using those evolved stronger units to battle not only against NPCs progressing through the story, but eventually using it in competitive game modes and even just battling your friends for fun. I do want to see how the Pocket Anime developers actually utilize this game, not only when it initially first does come out, but its future update. And once finally the storyline is complete, what else are they going to add to the game to keep it interesting and to keep it entertaining? And with a game like this, you don't even need to really worry about ping and server issues. So battling, making actual competitive game modes, ranks, etc. is going to be super interesting. And not only that, there's also a step further when it comes to actual competitive play. Going back once you're finally done with the game in order to make a competitive team, recatching or finding or even breeding, because you're going to be able to breed eventually in this game. Obviously, I'm very sure since it's actually humanoid characters, it's not going to be called breeding, but it'll probably be called something else. But I'm just going to use Pokemon terms. Being able to breed competitive ready Animon. I'm very sure Animons is the name of the Pokemon. So being able to breed competitive ready Animons with high IVs and EVs, perfect 5 or 6 IV EV Animons, that's going to be super interesting. Leveling those units up and getting them ready with whatever items they may need in order to actually take battling to that next level. It's going to be interesting. I want to see how the developers actually pull it off. And I've spoken to the developers in the past. They do play Pokemon games. They are Pokemon. They have the Pokemon knowledge. So I'm assuming they know exactly what they're doing. And I am assuming they know what they're going to do with the game's future as well when it comes to things like that. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing things like Pocket Anime is probably the most interesting game coming to Roblox, period, besides some of the games later on this list. But Pocket Anime, period. Obviously, it's taken a while for us to get any information on Pocket Anime for a while, but it doesn't change how I feel about this game and what a lot of other people feel about this game, that it's definitely up there in terms of interest. Now you have Arise. Now everybody is looking forward to Arise. It may not even be for the right reason. Most people want to see if this game is all talk, or will this game actually be able to take over the Roblox platform. Now, if you don't know, Arise is meant to be a solo leveling inspired game that is going to be pushed into 2 parts. There's going to be a Battlegrounds version of the game, and eventually it's going to be made into a full-fledged RPG. Now, when developers say this, honestly, let's take it with a grain of salt. However, the owner of the game has been on social media flaunting not only how good this game is and is going to be, but the developers creators that are working for the game, the animations, the gameplay, etc. He's been gassing the game up. So it is going to be interesting to see whether is this all talk or is this game actually going to be the next big thing. Now, it has been a while since we've even gotten sneaks for this game, and what's also very interesting, how long does it actually take to make a battleground? Now, they could be done with the battleground segment of the game and kind of want to develop the RPG side more, so the wait between the battlegrounds and the RPG isn't a very long time. But no, honestly, how long does it take to make a battlegrounds? Genuinely. So we're actually just gonna have to wait and see. Arise is more popular and people are looking forward to it more to see how it does when it actually does come out, rather than initially being interested or really hyped about it. Next we have Beyond Nen. Now, Beyond Nen is a Hunter x Hunter game that's honestly been in development longer than I've been alive. Over exaggeration there, clearly. However, it's been in development quite a long time, and people are looking forward to this game for the right and the wrong reason. Now, you do have the people that are genuinely excited to get a new game, especially a new Hunter x Hunter game, since Hunter x Hunter games don't actually come around like at all on this platform. But you do also have the side that are looking forward to Beyond Nen because they want to see if the game is going to fail, or they just want to see if the game's trash or not. And I think there's a lot of people on those sides, mainly because, kind of like Arise, the owner is pretty confident, very confident, and it's nice to see confidence in developers. Obviously, you are making a game and you should be proud of what you're making. However, sometimes the gameplay may not match the confidence, and that is where people kind of raise their eyebrow. Now, from what I have played of Beyond Nen, it actually looks like it is a pretty good game. I've only actually tested combat, so I don't know entirely. However, I do have hope in this game. There have been some red flags over the past couple of years. However, red flags can be corrected, and I do support the developer and wish that he actually provides something that is not only great for himself but great for the community, because we actually need games. Roblox is terribly dry right now. However, there is a Beyond Nen showcase coming sometime this weekend if you're watching this video when it's meant to be posted. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more and hearing more and eventually playing Beyond Nen, and a lot of people are too, despite the reason. Next we have 4Blues. Now 4Blues is 4Blues was surrounded in a lot of drama recently, which I didn't really cover because I just kind of felt like it was a bit too personal. But apparently, quote unquote, apparently things are starting to go smoothly now. Developers are hashing things out and the dev team is starting to excel and actually work on the game again, despite all the drama that was surrounding the game a couple of weeks ago. And if that truly is the case, people are looking forward to 4Blues because the combat system looks and plays so interestingly. Now 4Blues is meant to come out in CC before it comes out free to play for everybody, and a lot of people may feel indifferent about that. However, it doesn't actually change the fact that it is one of the more interesting combat systems that we have seen on the Roblox platform. However, we haven't actually seen any fruit gameplay and we haven't actually seen any progression. So there are still a lot of things left up in the air on whether 4Blues will be able to deliver on. The one thing we know we don't want is Type Soul but One Piece. So it doesn't really matter how good the combat system is. What really matters is if they're going to be able to deliver on promises such as the progression and fruit gameplay. But 4Blues is one of the more interesting games coming to the platform sooner rather than later. But let me tell you this, it does need to come out before a different One Piece comes out. Next, we're actually going to be talking about VV, and VV is actually a Bleach inspired Roblox anime game. Now the thing that sets VV apart from what we've seen other Bleach games have on this platform is that this game looks like it actually has content. Most of the Bleach games we get and that we've seen never truly have content and is always literally just PvP focused and PvP centered. What I've seen about VV, the game actually looks good. And again, this is just from the small amount of sneaks I've seen. From what you're seeing in the background now, you can see Hollow gameplay, you can see Quincy gameplay, you actually see some Sheik Eyes, you see that the PvP is actually pretty interesting as well. There's going to be necromancers in this, and there's some sort of gun class as well, and you can see that that the Dangai exists. We're actually going to be able to fight and interact with people within the Dangai. And you see the train comes, hits people, and people die. We don't see that in Bleach games. We really don't. So I'm genuinely curious to see what VV actually is whenever it gets to release to the platform. I do know currently they're doing a testing phase, and there's a bunch of testers going around playing the game. And there was even a tester in the general chat in the Discord server saying he hasn't felt this addicted to a Roblox game since like OG Rogue Lineage. And if he's claiming that, it must be a big deal. First of all, playing Roblox since OG Rogue Lineage means you're truly a veteran. And if you did play OG Rogue Lineage, you know the addiction is real. You know the addiction was real. You would wake up, eat, sleep, and shit Rogue Lineage. So I honestly, I'm taking his word for gold. I truly believe it. VV looks amazing. Obviously, the devs are a little bit, they don't really communicate too much, and I know they've been trying to keep the game under the wraps. They haven't been showing off more. They haven't been showing off a lot of sneaks. They have been showing some sneaks recently, but they haven't showing off like the game. So I'm genuinely curious to know what VV's life cycle is gonna be like. I'm curious to see what the developers, or when they plan to actually showcase the game more publicly, because they haven't really done that. I'm curious. I'm very sure VV is gonna be an interesting one when we actually get our hands on it. Honestly, I'm just waiting patient. That's all we can do. But a lot of people are looking forward to VV. I know it's not just me. From what we have seen, the game actually does look like, it looks detailed, bro. It looks detailed. It gives me more of an Elden Ring Bleach game vibe than just a Roblox anime, if you know what I mean by that. So yeah, VV is amazing. It looks amazing. Now next we have Type Soul. And honestly, if you've played Type Soul, you know that especially during the most recent closure of the game, or actually, if you want to be honest, every single time Type Soul has led to a closure where they've, you know, stopped people from being able to play the game, quote unquote maintenance, or whatever the case may be, Type Soul was always in trash states. From OG Type Soul was some of the best Type Soul we've ever had. OG Type Soul saved 2023. However, if you were playing OG Type Soul, you would know the player count went honestly significantly dipped, and then they closed the game, and then Type Soul came back with its re-release in 2024, and shout out to Type Soul re-release 2024. That saved 2024 too. Again, during its actual like re-release phase, that first month or two, it was really good. Type Soul saved summer 2023 and summer 2024. And then obviously, as we do know, with the whole situation with Type Soul, as well as that, the Battle Royale mode came out and the other modes came out, and the devs just didn't manage it properly at all. Battle Royale didn't even work towards the closure of Type Soul re-release. It's closed now again, and now they're kind of suiting and booting up for the Hellverse expansion. Everybody's looking forward to that. Yes, Type Soul was trash before it closed, but Roblox is in a state, especially Roblox anime, is in a state where people would rather take Type Soul than any. Honestly, people miss Type Soul. With how bad Roblox is right now, people actually miss Type Soul. And I honestly think it's doing more good than harm for the game. It's probably good that the game closed, because now that the game closed and we actually have nothing, people are like, rah, I kind of miss Type Soul. Why did we stop playing Type Soul? So it's kind of like you don't know what you have until it's gone. And that's literally how the community feels right now. Everybody's waiting for the Type Soul re-release. Everybody is hungry for Type Soul's re-release. With the Hell expansion update, we do know it's PvE oriented, but it's gonna have PvP elements to it. But we do know Type Soul's PvE suck. It always has, and hopefully it doesn't always will. So I'm curious to see what the developers do with the PvE within the Hellverse expansion. Obviously, we know we're getting Sacavellis and all those other new transformations and things of that nature. And if Type Soul re-release is trash, this will probably be the final re-release of Type Soul. But as of right now, everybody and their mothers is honestly hungry for Type Soul. I've literally had people sending me my old Type Soul content and saying, Agz, why did we stop playing Type Soul? I kid you not, people miss Type Soul. So I'm not gonna lie, do I miss Type Soul? Am I among those people? As of right now, yes. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I'd rather play Type Soul than Tun Shahao Simulator. So I guess it is what it is. Next, we have Tokyo Re. Now, a lot of people are looking forward to Tokyo Re, especially after the Ghoul Re situation. Ghoul Re just being trash and the developers and yeah, Ghoul Re, especially after Ghoul Re. And we know now that the Roblox anime community is really hungry for a good Tokyo Ghoul game. People were so fed up with Ghoul Re to the point people started playing Rogue again. Seriously, Rogue in 2025? Are we kidding? But yeah, people are hungry for a good Tokyo Ghoul game, and I honestly truly think that is exactly what Tokyo Re is. From what I've played, from what I showcased to the public, Tokyo Re looks amazing, in my opinion, at least. And a lot of people definitely agree with that. And I'm genuinely curious to see what the developers for Tokyo Re do for not only for the CC, yes, the game's coming out in CC before it comes out to the public for free to play, or yeah. So that is gonna annoy a lot of people. However, I'm genuinely curious to see what they do for the game once the game finally releases. I do actually hope it's not just PvP simulator type. Let's just call it, I think Type Soul did it perfectly, where there was not really too much content outside of just PvP. Type Soul did actually do it pretty decently with the raids and etc, but outside of that there wasn't actually much content. But yeah, hopefully it's not just Type Soul simulator where there's just no content outside of PvPing. But I'm genuinely curious to see what this game entails, and the PvPing in Tokyo Re is actually interesting, is entertaining, and it's fun. So it's not actually a bad thing if it was, but we do want more, because it will just end up being Ghoul Re all over again, and that's exactly what we don't want. Genuine. So yeah, people are really looking forward to a Tokyo Ghoul inspired Roblox anime game, and that's exactly what Tokyo Re is. And Tokyo Re has some really interesting mechanics and formulas that a lot of these other games didn't have. So yeah, we'll see. Next, we have Yaiba. Now Yaiba is one of them one. Yaiba has honestly captured the interest of a lot of people. That's not just me, but I'll explain exactly why I'm looking forward to this one. Probably it's probably like my top 3. Is it gonna come out in 2025? I doubt it. The developers are super quiet, and when developers go this quiet, usually developers are quiet, but when developers are this quiet, just know you're probably not we're probably not gonna get the game. But yeah, Yaiba, the combat system looks like art. The movement looks fluid. You don't look at this gameplay and say, oh yeah, this is just another parry game, this is just deep woken. No, this is a Demon Slayer inspired game that actually has a good combat system, and within that game's foundation, it looks beautiful. And not only does the base combat looks amazing, as you can see, the movement mechanics actually match that of the combat. It's not stiff, it's fluid. Like, look at small details when you look at characters moving. Animations, amazing. And for what we've seen, obviously the abilities are really just Demon Slayer stuff. I do like the string stuff. It looks like Spider-Man inspired, but yeah, it looks amazing. Yaiba looks amazing. Now Agz, you're probably gonna say, now Agz, this just looks like a game of good PvP and then no content. Obviously it has a chance of being that, but if Yaiba gets the content aspect of the game right, this will be the Demon Slayer game. We know how hungry the community is for a Demon Slayer game. Another game in the list, or the game we're going to talk about next, I'll encapsulate that properly. But we know how hungry the community is for a good Demon Slayer game, and Yaiba is really that. Will definitely draw in the audience and the attention of people. However, when is Yaiba gonna come out? I think that's the biggest issue here. Yaiba looks amazing, it looks beautiful, it looks sleek, it looks fluid, but when is it coming out? And that's the scary part. I don't think it's coming out this year, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, this game, you can argue it's probably one of the most anticipated, apart from the 2 that we're going to talk about after. Project Project Slayers 2. Now, obviously, I just spoke about how desperate the community is for a Demon Slayer game. And if you know what Project Slayers is, Project Slayers hasn't got an update in, I'm pretty sure it's been about 2 years now. It was a year and a half a bit ago. Pretty sure it's almost been 2 years now since Project Slayers has not updated. And I kid you not, I cannot make this up. For a game that has not updated in almost 2 years, Project Slayers is sitting at 2.5 thousand concurrent players. Do you know how impressive that is? The Project Slayers community is hungry. The Demon Slayer community is hungry for a good Demon Slayer game. So Project Slayers 2 is going to blow, and I genuinely think it's going to blow Roblox out of the water when it comes to player count. Project Slayers 2 is probably one of the most anticipated games. I know the developer hasn't been showing off sneaks, and I know it hasn't been talked about recently. It's been almost 6-7 months since, pretty sure it's been like 6 or 5 months since anyone's really articulated anything Project Slayers related. But Project Slayers 2 is definitely one of those games that are up there in people's watch list. Now, people may not be paying attention right now, but as soon as we get some Project Slayers 2 news, people are going to be there. People want Project Slayers 2. The Project Slayers 1 original player base is hungry for Project Slayers 2 especially. So if there's 2.5 people playing a game that hasn't updated in 2 years, what do you think is going to be the amount of people playing, waiting, hungry for Project Slayers 2? Now, Uok isn't transparent, and honestly, he may claim otherwise, but him working on 2 games at the same time is definitely not helping the pace of Project Slayers 2 development. Now, his other game, don't get offended, but no one actually cares about his other game. I won't say the name just to not give it bad publicity, but no one actually cares about the other game. No one cares for it, and he will see that in terms of the numbers and how quick the other game diminishes. Project Slayers 2 is the game, is that game, and it will. Project Slayers 2 won't go anywhere. Yeah, he could release Project Slayers 2 and not update it. If the game's actually good, it'll definitely have a place on the platform. People are hungry for this game. This game is a big deal. It's actually up there in terms of big deals, along with games like Holy War X and Rell Seas. Project Slayers 2, genuinely, definitely, people are waiting for this, and I don't even need you don't even need to question why. I just told you why. You should know why. Holy War X. Now, I don't really need to mention why this game is so popular and a lot of people are looking forward to the game actually releasing, but I do need to mention why, because it's the whole point of this video. Now, Holy War X is a 7 Deadly Sins inspired game, but as we all know by now, it's not directly taking everything from 7 Deadly Sins. This game's progression looks more like an MMO than it does 7 Deadly, and there's so much content. This game has the amount of content that a game like Rell Seas is gonna have. I mean, there was a whole movie kind of depicting everything, breaking down the game's progression, what is going to be in the game's progression, building, crafting, enchants, ships and ship combat, endgame ship, guilds, fighting style, magics, weapons, bosses. I mean, for crying out loud, to make the bosses efficient in Holy War X, the owner, Alphurex, has made it so that he can actually use the bosses himself and actually use the skill set and move set in order to balance and make sure the bosses in the game aren't just mindless NPCs. He's actually able to become a boss and use all of its skill sets and move sets, just in order to test how good the bosses are going to be before they implement them into the game. When have we ever seen a mechanic like this in any Roblox game? And me sitting here talking to you about the game doesn't actually justify the amount of content and the amount of effort that's being put into this video game. Genuinely, I do recommend watching the Holy War X movie. Holy War X is most definitely one of them one. When is it gonna release? And next we have an actual AAA worthy game, Rell Seas. Now, honestly, I don't think I need to, well, I do need to mention why Rell Seas is great, but we all know why Rell Seas is great. We've been doing this for a while now. Everybody here, everybody watching this video currently should know about Rell Seas, and if you don't know about Rell Seas, well, I don't know what to tell you. You should go find out about Rell Seas. Rell Seas is a One Piece inspired Roblox anime game, and this game is going to make sounds, it's going to make waves on the Roblox platform. I genuinely think Rell Seas is going to be as big as Grow a Garden in terms of players. Now, will Rell Seas be able to average 2 million players on a on a weekday, on a school night? I have no idea. It's so hard to tell, genuinely. However, if it does, that would be amazing. Rell Seas is honestly AAA worthy. From the sneaks that we have seen, you can tell that the Rell brothers are definitely putting in work. I mean, from the movies we've seen Rell Seas evolve from what it was to what it is now, and it's still improving. And we're actually getting closer to the Rell Seas CC phase, which is going to be amazing. CC obviously means closed community. Rell Seas is going to be doing closed community before it releases free to play for the public on all platforms. Rell Seas has proven that it is going to be the biggest One Piece game in history from just gameplay alone. I genuinely cannot wait to play Rell Seas. There's just so many emotions when it comes to this game. The glaze is unlimited. Now, is there a chance that Rell Seas comes out and it ends up being overhyped and underwhelming? Yes, there is a slight chance of that, but I don't think that is anyways. I'm not gonna sit here for 50,000 years and repeat the same Rell Seas glaze that I do on an everyday basis. Just know Rell Seas is going to be the biggest game in Roblox anime history, and this game will most definitely change the way that developers approach making Roblox anime games, and we may get attention from the outside, which may actually be a good or a bad thing. I'm not gonna lie to you. Too much attention from the outside for a game like Rell Seas. We'll see how that turns out. Anyways, that's it from me. This was games people are actually looking forward to and why. Now, there are definitely a bunch of games in development that are going to be coming to the platform, whether it's this year or next year, that we probably actually don't know about. And there are a few games that people are looking forward to that I haven't mentioned in this video, for good reason too. This video would be like 50 years long and I don't want to have to edit that. However, just know there are a bunch of Roblox games in development, whether it's anime related or not, that will be coming out at some point this year, but I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. Right now, summer has been terrible. Summer is dry and we're actually approaching the second month of summer, so it's pretty unfortunate that summer 2025 so far is looking like nothing. This year might actually be the worst year that we've had for Roblox anime games so far, because at least 2024 and 2023 there were games that came out during summer or just before summer started that were actually able to hold us for a while, aka Type Soul. So to give Type Soul its flowers, thank you very much. Honestly, it's dark here. It's really dark out here. I guess I'm gonna go play Tun Shahor Simulator.